And Be Next, investment will support Axiom in building advanced precision manufacturing capabilities, expanding engineering talent, and establishing its first state-of-the-art production facility.
India's startup sector met Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman for pre-budget consultations, seeking stronger funding and policy support, sources tell CNBC-TV18. Founders urge the government to boost the fund of funds, ease credit access for early-stage and women entrepreneurs, offer tax incentives and ramp up support for R&D, AI, sustainability and deep tech. They also called for better IP protection to help Indian startups scale globally. Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. But on what's brewing today, EdTech platform PhysicsWallah made a strong debut on Dalal Street, with its shares listing at a 36% premium to its IPO price. The company's post-issue market capitalization was close to 44,000 crore rupees. Speaking to CNBC-TV18, PhysicsWallah's co-founder Prateek Maheshwari said the firm hopes to grow at a rate of 30% and turn profitable in under 12 months.
We are on a mission. And that mission is more important, that access is more important. There will be quarters and quarters in our life, but the year in the student's life doesn't come back. This is an irreversible year for my students. So so continue to make impact in the student's life, as well as we will be utmost responsible to create our shareholder value as well. So the path to PAT level profitability will achieved in less than 12 months from now. We will continue to grow more than 30% in upcoming years.
Continuing with the big news for the day, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, along with other senior finance ministry officials, held a meeting with the startup sector as part of pre-budget consultations. Sources told CNBC-TV18 that industry representatives highlighted the need for greater access to capital, tax incentives and regulatory reforms to support innovation and global expansion. Timsi Jaipuria joins us with more details. Timsi, take us through what the startup ecosystem wants from the budget.
Well, that's right. What we are given to understand from sources that the startup sector today met up with Finance Minister and other key senior officials of the Finance Ministry in a pre-budget consultation meeting. And the sector has sought enhanced access to credit. Also, they are looking for tax incentives and regulatory reforms to foster innovation and international growth. What we are given to understand further is that they asked for more funding for fund of funds, streamlined credit access, tax breaks for early stage companies. Also, they've sought government support via administrative reforms to help provide larger term loans, especially for first-time entrepreneurs, women, etc. Also, the sector sought and pitched for stronger framework for intellectual property protection, that is IP protection, and they've also sought more allocation of funds for R&D, innovation, AI, sustainability and deep tech. So these are some of the sectors, some of the exact segments that startups are actually pleading the government for, and let's see what happens finally in the union budget.
Thank you, Timsi, for those details. But moving on what's brewing, musician and entrepreneur Badshah launches Shelter 6, a vodka brand co-created with Cartel Bros, the innovators behind acclaimed whiskey labels, the Glen Walk and the Glen Journeys. Distilled 6 times in Russia, the brand has ambitious plans to capture a minimum 25% share of India's vodka market and achieve a valuation of 700 crore rupees within 3 years. Shelter 6 aims to redefine the business of luxury drinking in India. Currently present in Maharashtra, the brand aims to be in 6 countries in the next 6 months. Joining me now to discuss this further is Badshah, the co-founder of Shelter 6, and Moksh Sani, the co-founder of Cartel Brothers. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. Badshah, let me start with you. From music to fashion to entrepreneurship, right? What drives you to keep reinventing yourself, and how do you sort of decide which ventures truly carry your signature?
I think I'm a creative, and I love to create things. And I think the creativity seeps into everything that I do. It's pure love of finding that gap as an artist and as also a businessman in the market, and just the want. See, it all starts with wanting to have something great, and when you don't find that, you create that. So I think everything stems out of that. So that's the basic root cause of everything that I do. Like even when I started creating music, I wanted to consume a certain kind of music because I am a music lover, and when I couldn't find it, I made it. So I think that want is the driving force.
Sure. And Shelter 6 sort of marks your entry into the premium spirits market, right? So what was that spark that got you interested in building this vodka brand?
I think vodka is a cool liquor, but I wanted to make it cooler. My whole objective is firstly I have to create a world class product, and I think world class is just is probably a wrong benchmark. I think I have to make the best product ever that I can in a certain price bracket, right? And so that is what we, when I collaborated with Moksh, my brief was simply, what is it that we can do, which is the best that we can do. It's not world class, it's not American standards, it's not Indian. It just has to be the best. And then, of course, cater it to the right people, and just to make sure that, the whole objective is if you don't have a bottle of Shelter on your table or back home in your bar, the party is not cool enough. Hence, Shelter 6, which is a 6 times distilled vodka. I don't think any other vodka in the country, at least, is 6 times distilled. And it's made in Russia. It's distilled in Russia. The water, the base of it all, comes from St. Petersburg, where we have the largest glacial lake. So we made sure that everything that we do it speaks for itself, so that no amount of buck that I'm doing, it doesn't matter. If you try it, you'll be, yeah. And it's a promise that you keep with yourself and your customers.
Absolutely. Moksh, let me bring you into this conversation. India's premium spirits market has sort of exploded in the last few years, right? With young consumers trading up for quality and experience. So how is Shelter 6 sort of positioned to tap into that shift?
I think it's exploding, but I think there's still a lot of space and a lot of gap for good products at a good price point, and with good awareness. So that's what we bring in. I mean, so we bring in a personality, the man behind, like someone like Badshah, making a good product in Russia, making sure that all the ingredients that you need are perfect, and bringing it at the right price. That's what we've always believed in at Cartel, and we continue doing so.
And Badshah, sort of coming back to you, if you could take me through, the audience that you want to cater to.
Who are we catering it to? I think we're catering it to everyone who's into good things, who appreciate greatness, who like good products, who like good liquor. It's young people, and it can be anyone. It's young people, it's old people. I'm not limiting it to youngsters. I know vodka is a young drink, but the definition of youth has changed. You can't define age brackets now. What a 30 years old or what a 20 years old was doing, let's say 15 years ago, 10 years ago. A 40 years old guy is doing the same thing right now. The dynamics of age have changed drastically. So we're not trying to box our audience. It's open to everyone. If you don't drink, amazing. But if you drink the right thing, drink the best thing out there.
All right. And the name Shelter 6 is intriguing, right? 6 times distilled, like you said, but also feels like it carries a deeper story. What does the name sort of represent to you?
It does, Arundhati, and people don't care about 6 times distilled. A regular drinker might not even give an F about it. It's just about a cool brand and a cool liquor. But Shelter is I think it symbolizes there's a warmth to the word, and over the years Badshah has become sort of a brand who's like this cousin big brother who starts the party, which encapsulates the word shelter six. So shelter is like a place where you can. It's very warm, but yet it's got a rebellious sense to it.
And, Moksh, coming back to you, distribution and visibility are sort of key in the segment, right? So what's your rollout strategy for Shelter 6, and how soon before we see it in top bars, lounges and retail shelves across metros? What about the global expansion plan?
We fortunately already have a roadmap because, as you know, Patel already has 2 successful brands running currently. So for us, distribution is not really difficult, and that's something that comes to us naturally. But the main thing is the awareness of the brand, and hence Badshah brings the awareness. We bring in the quality, and we've blended together. We've tasted it. We've kind of and I think distribution-wise, we're pretty sorted. We're currently in Maharashtra. It'll be started from last 2 days, and we're currently in about 150 liquor stores plus in just Mumbai. I think by the month end, we'll be across Maharashtra. In the next quarter, North and South both. So India, I think we should be in the next 4 to 5 months, we'll be across India and then globally. Currently, we have secure orders from UAE. So after UAE, we are moving to the Asian side. We'll be looking at Singapore and Thailand, basically. So I think we've got a roadmap preset where we want to go in the next 6 months. We'll be visible in about 7 to 8 countries in the next 6 months.
And, before I let you go, Badshah, you're mixing things up in business. Are you also mixing a new sound in the studio? What's next for you on the music front?
Absolutely. I think Indian music itself is on this cusp of breaking into the global mainstream scene, and I am doing my bit. I've just come out with a collaboration with an Afro artist called Davido, who's huge, and I'm just trying to work on my sound. It's all about invention and reinvention. It's all about freshness. Music is सिर्फ music आता है मुझे और कुछ आता नहीं है. So whatever I am, whatever Badshah is today, is because of the music, and that is the only thing that I know how to do and how to produce and how to create. So I'll keep on doing music. So even if you come to me after 2 months, there's going to be something new. So there's always something new. But right now you can go and check out Wallah Wallah with Davido. I'm working on a few collaborations. I'm working on a new album. I'm always working on music. I'm always working.
So you're always working. All right, Badshah and Moksh, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street.
Well, moving on from the alco-bev market to the snacking market, India's 42,000 crore rupee snacking market is getting a protein-powered shake-up, and leading that charge is SuperU, the new age protein snacking brand co-founded by Ranveer Singh and Nikunj Biyani. In just 1 year, SuperU has raised to 150 crore rupees in ARR, sold 15 million units, and launched 4 category-first innovations. With a footprint across 4,500 stores and a fast-growing digital community, the brand now wants to become a 1,000 crore rupee powerhouse. To decode the growth, the innovation engine, and what's next for SuperU, joining me today is its co-founder, Nikunj Biyani. Nikunj, welcome back to Startup Street. Now, SuperU completes 1 year with 150 crore rupee ARR and 15 million plus units sold across protein, wafers and chips. Nikunj, what does this say about India's shift towards functional snacking, and what's driving your momentum in a crowded 42,000 crore rupee snacking market?
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's very special because exactly 1 year ago, we did the same thing.
Yes.
And today is our first birthday. To answer your question, I think India and consumers have shown that they're ready for better. And if brands can innovate and create great product at great price with great distribution, consumers are willing to give you a shot, right? And if you can meet their expectations, then they're willing to make you a household name. So I think that's a clear trend that we've seen. And I think better snacking or healthier snacking is not a trend. It's something that's here to stay. So healthy is never going to become uncool.
Okay.
For lack of a better word.
Picking up from what you just said, you've from protein wafers to multigrain chips to fermented yeast, protein powders, 4 categories in a year. What's your innovation philosophy, Nikunj? And also, you've often said health and indulgence aren't opposites. So how do you design products that deliver both?
Yeah. So, so my product philosophy is same but different. And what that essentially means is that we're trying to not change habits for consumer, but trying to make their existing habit a little bit better. So for example, if you're used to eating a chip, we still want to give you something that has the same crunch, the same feel, the same mouthfeel of a chip, but just healthier, right? So we don't fry them, we bake them, but similar flavors and play around with the other ingredients. Innovation is at the core of everything we're doing. So we work the hardest at this, right?
Okay.
With a bunch of the partners that we have involved as well.
Sure. Nikunj, nearly 70% of India is protein deficient. Protein in India is still seen as gym first. How are you changing that narrative to make it everyday lifestyle first? And with Ranveer Singh, the actor, as co-founder, how has his involvement shaped SuperU's distribution edge or consumer trust?
Yeah, so if you look at all our communication, we've been the opposite of protein only for gym bros, like we like to say. And I think that consumer has realized that. So today, if you could eat something that feels like a chocolate, but also has protein, then protein's not just for the gym bros. If you can eat something that feels like regular chips, but also has protein, then it's not just for the gym bros. So it's just the ease of the access of protein that I think has made a big difference.
Okay.
And you asked about Ranveer Singh. Look, he's been super involved from day zero, right? And he's kind of allowed us, he's the engine that's allowed us to reach so many people and communicate the message that we really want to and deliver that very articulately so that consumers could understand what we're trying to say and what our POV is.
All right. SuperU now has a footprint across 4,500 plus retail outlets. Plus, you've got D2C and Q-commerce sales. Which channel is emerging as the real growth engine, Nikunj? And if you could take us through the revenue mix.
Yeah, so Q-commerce is one of the largest channels for us. It's about 50 to 55% of our total revenue, followed by our own website, which now because of protein powders, etc., is doing exceedingly well. And then followed by marketplaces like, let's say, Amazon and Flipkart and so on and so forth. And then obviously we have, like you mentioned, a retail network where we're present in more than about 5,500 stores now, and present in all your modern trade stores like Reliance and soon DMart and Wellness Forever, Noble, etc., etc.
Okay, and you're targeting what, 1,000 crore rupees in the next 2 to 3 years with a big push into R&D. What are the next big product bets or white spaces that you're eyeing? And what makes you bullish in achieving that 1,000 crore rupee mark?
So not just 1,000 crores. The goal is to do 1,000 crores with 18% EBITDA.
Okay.
Not just 1,000 crores. And I think the second thing is we're very confident on the kind of products we have in the pipeline. So we have some amazing products. I can't share too much right now because we're still a few months away. But within SuperU, so in the snacking category and within SuperU Pro. And the philosophy remains the same, that we want to make all these products easy to consume, pocket friendly, and just mad tasty, like we like to say.
All right. Finally, my last question. As you enter year 2, what is the biggest challenge for SuperU? Is it innovation, speed, supply chain, category education, or competition as we see it rising in the space?
Yeah, I think competition is always going to be there, but it's not a challenge because competition helps us get better, work harder. And I think the biggest challenge, like the hallmark of a great FMCG company is actually their backend, right? How efficient are they at everything they do at the back, whether that's demand planning and supply planning and warehouse management. I think that's, as we started as babies, as we continue to grow, one thing that we're very keen to excel at is the backend. So that's a big focus area for us, and we hope we keep getting better every day.
All right, Nikunj, on that note, it's time for me to wrap up our conversation. Many thanks for joining us on Startup Street and wish you the very best.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
With that, it's time for us to head into a short break. But coming up, Axis Bank says it is a 360-degree service provider with its Bharat banking unit targeting MSME growth. We check in with the firm's president to find out more. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Startup Street. Now, India's startup ecosystem is scaling faster than ever before, and it is reshaping consumer trends as we know them. But as the market evolves, founders are also looking at smarter capital, and banks that have traditionally stayed away from lending to this segment are also eyeing a piece of this pie. Today, we have Sanjeev Bhatia from Axis Bank joining us to tell us about why Axis Bank is betting big on the startup segment. Sanjeev, thanks very much for your time here. Firstly, you have your startup social you're hosting here. You're looking to build this network. What is the kind of opportunity you see, and why are you betting on this segment, which is a very small of the overall Axis Bank book that you have?
So first of all, thank you, Ritu, for having me in this segment. So we have this segment called New Economy Group, which is a specialized team looking only at startups. And the reason why we created this team was we didn't want the relative small size of this segment to get lost in some of the larger conglomerates that we bank with. And this is where you have professionals as founders, people like you and me who are running enterprises, and we wanted to talk their language and we wanted to provide solutions that are relevant to them. So just to give you a sense, of course, lending is there, it's part of the table. Today, our lending book would be on par with some of the largest venture debt providers in the country.
But what will be your niche? For instance, a lot of these founders, Series A and above, they have VCs chasing them. They often look at all kinds of structured debt as well in the runway, in the lead up to the IPO. Where does Axis Bank fit in? Because traditionally, we've not really seen banks being big lenders to the sector. And what is your edge, especially in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities where smaller startups are sprouting?
So I think in a nutshell, we are a 360-degree service provider.
So that differentiates you from the
VCs? And the execution of that vision, right? So it's one thing having that vision, but it's another thing how do you execute it. So for example, we have a Bharat banking unit, which is targeting the MSMEs, the rural ecosystem. So when an agri-tech is approaching that ecosystem, we can tag in the banking products like Kisan credit cards, like warehouse receipt financing, which goes with it. So we supplement the business model of the startup. We help them grow in their business model. And in the process, whatever banking facilities they want to consume, we would provide. Apart from lending, what, as you know, these startups, they do fundraisers, right? Yeah. They will not, if suppose somebody has done 1,000 crore fundraise today, they will not burn it immediately overnight. So they
One
need.
hopes not.
Yes, right. So and so therefore, this money needs to be parked somewhere. The investors, the folks who are sitting on their boards, they have views on the banks where this money can get deployed. It has to be a safe instrument, right? So as a tier 1 private sector bank with a very solid backing, we become a natural choice for them to place this surplus with us, right?
In terms of a pipeline,
right?
I mean, what kind of funding are you looking to do, say, over the next year or so? Could you give us a sense of what sectors you're looking at too?
See, this book for us is growing anywhere between 20 to 25%, right? Okay. So I think that should give you a sense as to how quickly we are growing. But from a sectoral perspective, I think fintech and e-commerce have been our areas of strength. For some of the leading e-commerce players, we provide 40% of cash on delivery. The currency notes that get collected, they go through our pipes, right? If you look at our, we are a listed company, you can look at our investor presentation. Our market share in NEFT processing is around 40% and above. Our IMPS market share is again 40% and above. That's because all these fintechs are pumping their IMPS and NEFT volumes through us, which is giving us this market share, right? So that bit will also continue to increase. We are very confident that we will continue to have a very commanding market share over there.
Sanjeev, leave us with a closing thought for the startup community that is watching the big themes you're going to be excited about. Come 2026, we're nearing the end of the year. You're looking at a 20-25% kind of a growth for the book.
Right.
Fintech and e-commerce are your preferred sectors, but big themes that you're going to be excited about.
No, we're very excited about deep tech, manufacturing. We have, some very pioneering business models coming up, like ethereal machines, like Pixel, and those are the companies that we want to get in and be at the cutting edge of innovation.
Longevity sponsoring companies?
Yes, absolutely. And I think I just want to leave one single overriding thought with your viewers, that anything that the startups may need from the financial ecosystem, Axis is here to provide that, whether it's lending, whether it's helping you collect money from your customers, whether helping you do payroll, keeping your employees satisfied, and charting the path to an IPO. Everything is there on the table, and we have specialists who make this happen for you.
That's for them. And the return on capital for you?
I can tell you our business gives the highest return on risk capital within the bank. Not just wholesale, across the bank, it is the highest return on equity business. Right?
All right. On that note, Sanjeev, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for your time. It's
Thank you, Ritu,
really
for having
nice
me.
to have you here. Okay, on that note, we're going to wrap up this edition of Startup Street. Thanks very much for tuning in. Goodbye, and thanks for watching.